Hi, I'm Dustin Blitchock. I'm an editor at Benzinga.com. We're here in our downtown Detroit newsroom today with Michigan's Lieutenant Governor Brian Calley, who stopped by to visit for the first time here. And we're going to ask him a few questions about his campaign for governor this year and the state of Michigan's economy and a few other things too. So we're happy to have you here, Lieutenant
Great
Governor.
to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you. We were just talking when you got here about tech investment in Detroit. And I know that as Lieutenant Governor, you've been on a lot of trade missions. You're concerned with diversifying Michigan's economy. What can be done to make this place as attractive as possible to tech investors? And is that sector an important part of diversifying Michigan's economy? Is it something you look at?
The word is getting out how important the financial services and information technology is kind of infusing into every single profession around the world, really, but especially here in Michigan with everything from automotive to financial services. That it's really about the information technology behind it and how it's changing everything. And I'll go back to using talent development as the main economic development tool. And when you have the people that can do the work that is demanded in this economy, that's where you get the investment. That's how you win deals. That's how you get everything from an entrepreneur that's giving it a go on a first try, or the big giant investors that are coming in. When you have the people that do the work, you get the growth.
The open position, and of course we just talked about the Detroit FinTech Association. We're Jason Raznick is trying to connect more people with those open jobs.
What I love about FinTech is it's the idea of intentional work of connecting kids with financial literacy in the first place, but it's also exposing them to a whole world of opportunities that they probably don't know about. A lot of times kids will go through school and there's certain professions that you hear a lot about, and they're important professions. I mean, you hear about being a doctor, or hear about being a lawyer, or being a nurse, or a teacher, or a police officer. Those sorts of things, all really important professions. There's also financial services provide so many opportunities for a great life and career.
And a lot of them are startups, of course.
Yes.
So you're not going to hear about that in school.
Exactly, and that's what I love about this effort with FinTech is it's going to be a great connector. So it's going to give financial literacy, which is important. It's also going to connect kids and show them a whole world of opportunity.
Something just occurred to me when we're talking about Michigan's economy. What's your take on the development of autonomous vehicles taking place here? Do you have any concerns? Do you think that's something that could be an economic driver for us? Because you're seeing, because we have the big three here, and you're seeing some startups as well working on autonomous technology, almost as much as in California, from what I can see. I think we've become a real center of this. So is there a need for laws at the state level governing this? What's your take on the autonomous space?
I'm all in on autonomous and connected vehicles. This is the future, and Michigan has become the center of this activity. When you look at research and development and engineering, a lot in the industrial design that happens earlier in the process, Michigan just dominates North America in this. But then when pushing the technology further and having the real advancements that are happening, we want to make it so that you have to be here. I mean, if you're in this space, you got to be in Michigan. So the American Center for Mobility, for example, which in Washtenaw County, I mean, this is the old.
Is that the U of M, the test track?
Well, that's M-City. So that was the first iteration. 32 acres was M-City. So it's autonomous vehicle test, a test facility. But now we've taken the Willow Run Airport, which is this historic site that won World War II, where they made the bombers for World War II, and it was just an extraordinary site. But it was vacant for a long time. About 350 acres. That is an outdoor, year-round autonomous vehicle testing facility that has roads and bridges and freeways and developing like suburban and urban settings, and it'll be the best testing center anywhere in the world.
Under construction right now?
It's and part of it is already open.
So that's going to be a huge catalyst for testing in
It's
Michigan.
a big catalyst, but we also changed our laws so that the testing can happen out there on the real roadways as well. So what you can get here in Michigan, you can't really get it as in such a comprehensive fashion anywhere else.
So we're already further ahead than I realized in this sector.
Yeah, this is I mean, we are all in. We insist on being the national and international leaders on it.
You mentioned the Ford announcement in Detroit, and they just opened, I think, an autonomous office or a next generation technology office right near the Michigan Central Station where they're relocating. Ford's one of the stocks we cover, one of the most important companies in Michigan. What was your reaction when you heard about them really establishing a Detroit presence and announcing that they're going to take over one of our largest abandoned properties?
I could not have been more thrilled with that. I mean, the train station has been it's like the last huge reminder of Detroit in decline, and so not just because it's that's being redeveloped, but it's also one of the iconic Michigan names.
And you want to see it get saved.
Of course, yeah, it's a beautiful historic building. And I think that's the thing that's going to get for Ford is such a cool setting, and it's in kind of how that piece of land is kind of surrounded. I just think that the impact of having an investment like that there will completely transform the borders. It's bordered by freeways. That entire area, I think, will be unrecognizable in just a few years, and that itself, I think, is going to be another way to attract talent. It's going to be the kind of place where people want to work.
Were you involved in Detroit and Michigan's bid for Amazon at all?
I was, yeah.
Okay. How much would it mean to have a company like that relocate here? Is it worth any subsidies that were offered? Did we learn anything from that experience?
The Marshall, what we have today, just passed this past week and got funded into the budget, is something called the Marshall Plan for Talent. That was really inspired by the Amazon bid. As we got into it, first of all, I'd say Michigan even being in that conversation shows you how far we've come compared to say 10 years ago.
The GM bankruptcy.
Exactly. And so when we have a company that's giving a serious look like that in Michigan, I think going all out makes a lot of sense. I was on the bid team for Southeast Michigan. And what became very clear, though, is that we just need more people. But we're already, even without Amazon, we need more people. In Michigan today, there are over 100,000 open jobs, and it doesn't matter, like high skill to low skill jobs, from the most rural to the most populated of areas. Employers are saying the same thing. Cannot find enough people to fill all these jobs. So we knew that putting a $50,000 or 50,000 employee operation in an economy that has grown out, in a lot of ways has outgrown its workforce. We knew that presented some challenges, but it's also an opportunity for us to go out there and connect more people with what they need to go out there and compete and win in a 21st century global economy.
It highlighted what the need was.
It really did.
In Michigan. I've never heard anyone say that about our state before, but that's an interesting turn of phrase to say that it's outgrown its workforce. Okay, I have a fun question for my last one, and my boss wanted me to ask this. We just talked about talent in the state of Michigan for a long time. What was your first job and what was your worst job? Tell us a little bit about your background before you went into politics.
Well, it's hard for me to say any job was my worst job because I appreciated the opportunity every step of the way.
Hopefully it's not the current one.
When I would, no, it's been an honor of my life to serve. When I was 12 years old, I went to work for my dad. My dad had a medical, he was a doctor, and so I went filing paperwork in his office when I was 12 years old. And I worked there for about 5 years, and by that time I really felt like I just needed to get out. I felt weird about working for my dad, so I just went out and applied for jobs, and the first one that said yes was a janitor at a nursing home. So I took it, and that was a very, very hard job. It was a very difficult job, and I had that job, and I was saving up money to buy an engagement ring on layaway for my wife, my wife. The first Saturday after I turned 18, I asked her to marry me, and to this day, I can afford to get her a nicer ring than I could afford when I was a janitor at the nursing home before.
But that one means something.
That one has the sentimental value to where she would never consider giving it up, and so that was. I went from there to working as a in the mailroom of a bank, and then 10 years later, I was still in banking.
Well, that's a sweet story. That's a very sweet story. We thank you for visiting us and coming by the Benzinga newsroom, and I wish you the best of luck this
What
year.
a pleasure it is to you.
Thank you, sir. Nice to see you again.